a whole pre-race show again with no audio, Sam. We gotta do better than that. We're on board with Ryan O'Donoghue in the passenger seat here in qualifying. O'Donoghue's just got the green flag. Here you go, Sam. Tell us what you're seeing.
It's our fan base that's always there for us. What we're seeing here is Ryan O'Donoghue, Mr. Consistency, taking it down the backstretch, and the first lap will be a wash lap. It'll be a lap that he'll just want to warm up the tires and get some heat built up in those tires so that he can make a fast lap on the second lap. You will not gain speed after that. Once you get heat in the tires and on that second lap, that will be probably the fastest time that you'll turn. Some leagues will turn 4 laps, but here at Kansas you get 2. You get 1 to heat the tires up and 1 to turn a fast lap, and this is what we see Ryan O'Donoghue doing right now as he turns a 31.269 to start with, and then you will probably see him somewhere in the 30.8. Oh, he catches the wall. Oh no, that will definitely end his qualifying effort. That is such a rare thing for Ryan O'Donoghue.
Yes, it is.
He's stopping just short. Yes, he stopped just short of the start-finish line.
So that tells me he thinks he may have another lap.
He may try to make 1 more lap.
Yeah. And so there's Ryan.
But again, that's a warm-up lap. That'll be a lap that he'll just be getting heat into the tires.
Right. And then he'll cross the line, and then those will be his 3, and he'll be done. Looking at Justin Osterman, he just went to 8th on the board. He is working on lap number 2 now. That's Osterman in the 53. We do want to thank everybody. Was it Mike Rigney that texted you and said we didn't have any sign? Attaboy.
It was.
Attaboy, Rigney. We thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. We do want to thank everybody who may be tuning in a little bit early for the P1 Broadcasting's presentation
Yeah, we've already got 20 in here even for qualifying. That's a great turnout.
That is. Justin Osterman goes to 5th quick. Still on the course waiting. Here's Paul Witt in the 29 for Simply Blue Pools. Do want to thank everybody who showed up a little bit early. We're looking at about 25 minutes before Gary goes live with Jacob Collins for the opening top split of the iRacing Indy 500 fixed, and so that is going to happen here within the next half hour. Sam, I was disappointed in my qualifying effort. I was 152nd. And then
152nd?
I was 152nd, but then I was kind of heartened by the fact that there were over.
Did you remember the pedal to the right?
Well, there were over 3,000 people that took time, and the top 250 were separated by less than 1/10 of a second over 4 laps. There wasn't much. The difference in time between me and Hamilton Akaboise, who has the overall pole for the iRacing Indy 500 fixed, was 74 thousandths of a second. We're not talking about a lot.
Oh no! I'm sure that it's getting down to the thousandths of a second with those lap times among those cars. I'm positive that it is a fierce qualifying effort for that particular event.
Yeah, it's wild. We have no more cars out on the track. James Hodgson continues to circulate.
We see the cream rising to the top.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Very familiar names up there. The Chad and Chad show. Chuck Sweeting, Mike George, Paul Witt up there in the 7th position. Even considering that he hit the wall, Ryan O'Donoghue with a fast lap that puts him in the 8th spot. So we're seeing familiar faces that are in the top 10 already.
Yeah, that second lap was the money lap. Ryan O'Donoghue didn't get his, and he still manages to qualify in the top 10.
8th.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's
I thought the times would be a little bit lower, but then I looked at the track temperature. It's already up to 111. Well, right now it's at 81 as we're switching over to we're getting to the race.
Yeah, we're getting into nighttime. There it is.
The time has changed. But during qualifying, it was 111, 112 degrees.
Was indeed on the pole tonight. Chad Dulabon, 176.989 miles an hour. Chuck Sweeting, he's going to be to the outside. Jared Duda and Chad Winstead, they're going to be in row 2. Mike George, Justin Osterman, will start 5th and 6th. Paul Witt, Ryan O'Donohue, Jeffrey Hyde, and Mark Cofield are going to round out your top 10. Kendall Paul and James Hodgson are going to start 11th and 12th. Dylan Johnson, Kylan Wilson, that's a new name for us. Kylan Wilson is going to start 14th. David Dunwoody will be exactly halfway in this field. He'll roll 15th. Tyler Moore is going to be 16th. Jim Duda is 17th. Keith Graham 18th. Brian Sharp, watch out for those trees, Brian. He is going to go 19th. And Billy Elwell in the Liam Anderson Motorsports truck will roll off 20th. In 21st, it is Liam Anderson. 22nd is Ted Craven. Barry Seaman, 23rd. Michael Kirk, 24th. Donald Green will be at 25th. Jeremy Dunwoody, 26th. The 04 of Corey Palermo will go from 27th starting spot. I am obviously not racing in the broadcast booth. And John Hutchins has not signed in. Or is not in the server.
Out of the server at the moment, yeah.
He's out of the server, so... There you go, race fans. Getting set for 100.
I would tell you this. Just, again, I'm watching the weather very closely. And the reason why is because it has a huge effect on how these trucks will drive. At 111, 112 degree track temp, that truck can get extremely loose. And so when the track temperatures drop down like it is in the 80s right now, 81 degrees of track temperature, that opens this mindset of just keeping it matted and going as fast as you can go and run qualifying laps at the beginning of a run. And you may see drivers that are going to push that truck to get up to the front as fast as they can. But what that does is also it promotes a lot of tire wear. You use up tons of tire to do that, but it certainly gives people an ego into thinking that they can get up front, especially if they're wanting to get around trucks that are wanting to conserve tire for the long run.
And this is a night race, and so that number right there, that 81 degrees, is only going to continue to get cooler. The pace truck has the field going through turn number 3. We're going to get to turn 4 pretty soon. We'll be in the flag stand with Barney, and this race will be underway. It's 134 laps here tonight, Sam. I'm ready for it.
We won't have to worry about tires too much unless we get into a position where the stages are or conditions cause drivers to lose tires. There's one on the truck and 4 sets in the pit, so we should be good on tires tonight. Oh, they're checking up in the back, but it looks like everyone's going to... Donald Green goes down to the apron of the racetrack. He made quite a few passes there before the start-finish line.
He did indeed. There is a black flag on the speedway for Donald Green passing before the start-finish. They're already 3 wide at the front of this deal, Sam, wasting no time getting to it. Chad Winstead is fallen a little bit.
Mike George is in the catbird seat here.
Yeah, big
right
run.
In the middle. Oh, and they're going to touch. Oh, so close. I told you that there are going to be drivers that are going to want to get up to the front with these cold track conditions. They are wanting to get that grip and use it to their advantage. There's a touch. They're 4 wide in turn 2 already. We're only 1 lap into the race.
They are indeed. Big move from David Dunwoody. Mark Cofield slides toward the back. He'll be joined back there by Brian Sharp, Leon Anderson. They're still racing hard back here. This is for 17th, 18th.
Back there, look at the front. They make contact. There's a spin. Osterman goes through the infield. They're still crashing on the front stretch. What in the world is going on? We're only 3 laps into this race.
Oh, no, and their truck comes through and hits the 88 of James Hodgson hard, long after the caution had been thrown. This all is going to start, and I'm going to see if we can't get...
It's up here with Chad Winstead. And Chad Dulabon and Justin Osterman.
Well, here comes Osterman. So we're looking down the backstretch. Here comes Osterman. He's going to make it 3 wide for the second row.
Right.
Do want to thank... We got a huge audience tonight, Sam. Do want to thank everybody. Osterman puts it 3 wide under Mike George. You've got the 98 of Chad Dulabon is going to be in the middle. Osterman, they're not touching through 3 and 4, but they are 3 wide here. That's Osterman on the bottom, Dulabon in the middle, and Chad Winstead is on top. Here comes Mike George. He's going to make it 4 wide. And do they touch? They do. So Winstead and Dulabon make contact. Osterman gets the door. He's going to go for a long, lurid slide. Meanwhile, the 98 of Dulabon comes up and hard contact. I can't make out who that is.
It looks like Barry Seaman.
It could be. Meanwhile,
the 55 of Barry Seaman, who just never really, he slowed down, but he just never really gave air to what may be on the other side of the 88. Man, he just really clobbered the 88. He may have just ended Chad Dulabon's night.
well, that wasn't the 55 of Barry Seaman. The 55 of Seaman is involved here in what is involved here. And this is the cockpit view from Barry Seaman in the Aflac Duck. He sees the accident. He's slowing down.
He makes an evasive move to miss the 88, which he just clips him. But Dulabon is coming across the racetrack, and he's slowing, but he's not stopped. And he really T-bones hard the 98 truck.
Bam! Right there. And so that's going to be a hard lick for Chad Dulabon. There's one other view I want to see of this, and that is on board Chad Dulabon. If I can get
wow, what an impact! And to top it all off, the 55 of Seaman gets the iRacing God quick repair.
Yeah, he gets the net code. Here's the cockpit of Chad Dulabon in real time. 1 lick, 2 lick. Still wrecking behind him. He's probably thinking at this point, it's probably not too bad. Now it's bad.
Sorry.
It's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not too bad.
I think I'm all right. I think I'm okay. I think I'm all right. No, my night's over.
I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right. Uh-oh. But there's Chad Dulabon. He gets back onto the speedway. He's 1 lap down. And
Fortunately, that contact's to the back of the truck, so he may be able to get some repairs.
He's going to be in good shape. Jared Duda was the 52 up there. That was the truck that was scraping along the wall. He has the meatball that he must respect, and so Jared Duda is on the pit lane, as is Jim Duda and Keith Graham with hard contact. Chad Dulabon and Justin Osterman have effected repair, as has Paul Witt. Mark Cofield also came into the pit lane for some repair. Brian Sharp and James Hodgson did stop, although they were only in their boxes for 7 and 12 seconds respectively.
So many trucks involved in that. This track is not very wide. You can race 3 wide here, but it's not recommended. And because it's not very wide, when there is an accident, you kind of feel like you're at Dover, where one truck sideways just takes up the entire racetrack. And so it's just, when there's a wreck, your best option if you're back in the field and there's a wreck ahead of you is just to stop.
Yeah,
it's trying to navigate through it can be detrimental. It really can.
It's very difficult, and the thing with that is Sam, you talked about wide. This track really is only 2 lanes. I mean, you can stack them 3 wide, but it's not.
You can, but it's not recommended. You just, like, they're 3 wide right now.
We said that. We said that, saying we got to stop saying it. Meanwhile, the race for the lead is insane. They're nuts back here.
It's almost like Beetlejuice.
I know, right? They are 4 wide in the back of this thing.
They're still 3 wide.
Oh, they were 4 wide for a minute, Sam. Paul Witt is trying to get back toward the front of this thing. He's got his truck fixed. He's back on the lead lap. Paul Witt has gone from 22nd to 13th in a matter of 2 laps here at Kansas. We did not get a chance to mention it, but we do have stage breaks tonight. Those stage breaks are going to be at 30 and 6. Those are going to be at 30 and 60, and so no worries on tires, as you had said. The race distance, 134 laps, 201 miles. The past winners here are Kevin Winker, Kyle Heath, Kendall Paul, and Chad Winstead. If I recall correctly, I ran second in 2 of those races. So there is a lot of AMA history here. It is also Kendall Paul's home track, and so that is probably why. I do want to point out that both Katie Green and Carrie Elwell, are Carrie Elwell. I have been misnaming people all doggone day long, Sam, and it's gonna have to stop, or somebody's gonna have to cut out my tongue. Carrie Elwell. I'd like to point out that both of their men made it through. Donald Green is 12th, Billy Elwell is 10th, and so
did Donald Green get the lucky dog on that last pass?
He did not.
Or did he go a lap down?
He did not go a lap down, so he is 12th.
Okay.
The black flag kind of saved him, Sam. He had served his drive-through and come back out. Yeah. It kind of saved him. He didn't go a lap down. Justin Kirby is in the house. Justin Kirby is in the house. We've got Liam Anderson fans in here. Yeah. He's 21st.
Oh, we're glad to have everybody. This is great. Just another. It's almost. It's like a little weekly reunion. We appreciate all you guys, guys and gals, showing up and supporting the P1 and the AMA.
We do now.
I was just having a discussion with someone just last night, and they were asking me about the Truck Series, and I told them that I felt like the AMA Truck Series is really one of the most competitive and best shows on iRacing right now, in my opinion.
It is, and the viewership backs that up, Sam. The audience backs that up. I would go back through the field and start talking about some other trucks. I do not want to take my eyes off the front 4. Mike George has grabbed the lead. Chad Winstead is second. Ryan O'Donoghue has made his way to third. Kendall Paul is fourth. And they are putting a lap right now on the truck of Keith Graham. They're going to put him 3 laps down. Everybody freight trains to the high side. But Ryan O'Donoghue has come from the back. He started 8th. He's 3rd. And he is working on Chad Winstead for second here, Sam.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Chad was in that incident on the front stretch. I don't know if he received much damage. I think that he brushed the wall, but or did he get turned to the infield? But it doesn't seem to have affected his truck too much.
Yeah, I don't see any damage.
He's running strong.
Yeah, I don't see any damage on the side of it there. I think he got more of a door ding on the left than he did on the right. And he appears to be...
Paul testing the waters there.
Now, something that I'm interested in here, Sam, does the draft play in anything here?
The draft is not. No, the draft is not a big player in what the drivers do here, simply because the tire wear is such a major factor, and a lot of drivers they can save tire and maintain certain speed over the long run and be able to keep that consistency. Other drivers, however, depending on their throttle control abilities, if they use too much throttle coming off, they could get the right rear too hot, or if they're driving in too deep, then they could really just abuse the right front, which will cause steering issues and give them a tight condition throughout the turns. But usually this is how Kansas will play out with the trucks a lot of times, is that drivers will run the bottom for a few laps and then they'll go to the top. And then depending on those drivers and how they utilize their driving skills, they'll stay to the top until other drivers start using their stuff up or get into the wall. So the draft really is not as big of a player here as people may think it is.
There you go. And here we have a battle. The top 11 have pretty much cleared themselves. The Hornet's Nest, Justin Osterman racing hard on top of Donald Green. He's got Mark Cofield going to go to the bottom. There'll be 3 wide. Brian Sharp is the interested party, electing to not make it 3 wide. He'll get in the wall. Osterman gets loose. Everybody's having fun here, Sam. Meanwhile, Kendall Paul goes to the bottom. Can he slide?
He's not going to clear him.
No!
I thought he was going to come out. I thought for sure he's going to try it.
That was something that I was told, was that we were going to see a lot of slide jobs tonight, Sam.
This is the track for it, and if you can clear a driver and you can make that pass and cleanly get up and slide it up in front of them, a lot of drivers will try that move at this particular track. Of course, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s call about Kyle Larson at this race.
Whoa, we got trouble in the back. Mark Cofield hard in the wall. Justin Osterman collected. Caution is back out on the Speedway here at lap 19. There is Mark Cofield. And I had just cut it to them because they were 3 wide back there racing around 12th. And let's see exactly what happened here with Mark Cofield, Justin Osterman, and crew. They're going to put...
Donald Green was the unfortunate meat in the sandwich there, and he's just trying to keep off both drivers, but he still manages to make contact to the right rear of Cofield.
Yeah, and that's not... Well, did he?
Do you have? Let's go to the blimp.
Yeah, there it goes. So, but Donald Green, Mark Cofield could have been a little bit lower there. That's not all on Donald Green for sure.
No. It's just a tough position to be in. He knows that there's a truck outside of him. He knows that he has the turn 3 approaching. He's got to make some kind of entry. He also knows he has a truck on the inside of him, and so he's just trying to make the best of a tough situation. And he just makes light contact with Cofield there going down the backstretch.
Yeah. Let's get on the right rear of Mark Cofield. We'll get the boxes out of there, and you'll see it. And it's not much. Here's Donald Green, and you can see Osterman to his outside. And
Mark Cofield doesn't want to go too low. He does not. He's trying to maintain a steady line, and he's doing a great job. But he doesn't want to go too low in his entry into the corner because he'll scrub off so much speed. He'll lose all that momentum if he goes in too low. So he's just trying to maintain a line that he feels like he can keep speed. And then Donald Green just in the middle there. He just comes down just enough to catch Cofield and get him around.
Yes, he does. So caution out here at lap number 21 of 134. Do want to thank everybody from tuning in. Do want to remind everybody, if you're looking for opening night of the iRacing Indianapolis 500 fixed, Gary Gonzo is going to have that for you here in about 5 minutes on the second stream, and then I know at least I will be joining him for the end of that race. We've got Mike George in the lead, Chad Winstead second, Ryan O'Donohue is third. We are not going to see anybody hit the pit road here, are we, Sam?
Not if there's a stage break coming up. Drivers will probably want to spare themselves for track position. If you think about the grand scheme of things, and again, the officials here at AMA and the administrators have really come up with a good. It gives the race strategy a little bit of a twist, just simply because there is an extra set of tires in the grand scheme of things, and so with that extra set of tires, you could very well have drivers that will take a gamble. They may take it early and just get fresh tires so that they can get up and to the front and make up track position for the next pit stops at the stage breaks. But then at the end, if there are late race cautions, and you don't have an extra set of tires, it could come back to bite you. But this track does, as the laps go on, this track can produce long green flag runs.
Yes, it can.
It could benefit people to try a little bit of strategy.
It could. This was always the spot where, this is always the spot here, Sam, where I personally, if I was not in that top 5, in those front 3 rows, I said top 5, but if I wasn't in one of those front 3 rows, this is one of those spots where I might have hit pit road, knowing there's a stage coming.
Lap 22. Yeah, you've got half a cycle. You got almost half a cycle off those tires, and if you want to make up track position, that there is a set there that you may be able to gamble with.
Yep, absolutely. And here we go. We are back under green flag action. We'll get the drone going here, Sam. Mike George gets the break. Ryan O'Donohue second. And look who has made his way up to third now and firing along the bottom. That's David Dunwoody in the 28. He's got a fresh paint scheme on that. He's going 3 wide
again. They're 3 wide again coming down the front stretch.
Oh, boy. Make that
There's a hornet's nest right here.
Make that almost 4 wide, Sam.
They're 3 by 3.
They look like the Blue Angels flying in that diamond formation right here.
There's a lot of formation there. Now there are some great drivers in this group right here. Very good drivers in this group.
There are Ryan Donahue, of course. We know him very well from both nights here in AMA, the ISRA series. You've got David Dunwoody, who's an accomplished truck driver. You've got Mike George up there. He's been a rocket all season. Chuck Sweeting, the same. Chad Winstead's won races here. This is a gnarly group. And
Wilson,
no,
who's
the
fixing
21
in there on the inside.
Kylan Wilson.
Oh, he's so close into that precarious place right on the left rear of Chad Winstead.
Oh, they're not done yet, Sam. They're not done yet.
Nope. Here he goes. He sticks it in there.
Chad Winstead.
Oh, he's really going to. What a big move by Colin Wilson.
Chad Winstead decided discretion was the better part of valor.
He's in the grass. That's going to scrub off a lot of speed.
Chad Winstead decided discretion was the better part of valor right there. Jeffrey Hyatt also snuck in the picture in the sixth.
Smart driver.
Yeah, that was. He's been waiting. And look at Billy Elwell. Billy Elwell in the 67 for Liam Anderson Motorsports, the Never Idle 26 of Tyler Moore, and the 125 of Brian Sharp. I'm going to tell you what, he's got Tweety Bird looking pretty good tonight. He's up in 11th. And knock on wood, Sam, he might go a stage without hitting anything.
There's a lot of crops in Kansas, but not a lot of trees.
Touche. The front two are broken away. Ryan O'Neill and Mike George. The second group is right here. This is Dunwoody, Sweeting, Kendall Paul, Kylan Wilson, and Jeffrey Hyatt that we're looking at here, right here. And so we'll keep the camera here. Ryan O'Donoghue and Mike George have broken away.
I believe James Hodgson he's actually 4 laps down, but I think he took a set of tires.
Could be. And
he is flying up through the field.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and let's go ahead and get the camera on James Hodgson. He goes past Liam Anderson.
Watch this.
Yeah.
Watch the ground he makes up right here in turns 3 and 4.
Well, he's trying to get a lap back.
He's wanting to earn it the hard way.
Yeah, well, he knows that there's going to be a stage here in just a couple of laps. If he can make it back up into the front with a new pair of shoes, it's one more lap, and then if there's a couple of cautions,
yes, sir,
he starts getting lucky dogs. He could very well be in the lead lap when it comes time for show and tell in about 100 laps. So James Hodgson is moving back up toward the front. Ryan O'Donoghue has now pulled the gap. And there it is over Mike George. So Ryan O'Donoghue leads
you're
it.
You're getting to that precipice of the tire wear now, where you're going to start seeing where drivers can really command their throttle control and save tire. Now, some of it's throttle control, and then others drivers that are able to make adjustments in what little adjustments they can with their steering ratio or their offset, and be able to save tire under these circumstances. And these front two drivers are starting to pull away because they've got a better grip on this right now.
You want a good seat, Sam. We're gonna sit inside the helmet of Chad Winstead. He works underneath Kendall Paul. He's got Jeffrey Hyatt in front of him. Caution is out for the stage. I thought Winstead might have a shot at Kendall Paul. It didn't happen there. Caution is out, and that is the stage break. And so Ryan O'Donoghue is going to be the stage winner. Mike George second. David Dunwoody is going to be third. Chuck Sweeting, Kylan Wilson, Jeffrey Hyatt, Kendall Paul, Chad Winstead, Billy Elwell, and Tyler Moore. Give a call down to that man right there in the Never Idle 26. Tyler Moore brings it home 10th. And Mike Rigney, you should have signed up for the trucks. I think that would have been a fabulous idea. You could have shown these young kids how it's done.
Mike Rigney jumped into a cup race on Tuesday night and was looking sharp.
See, that's the one thing I cannot do. I mean, there's cars that agree with you, Sam, and there's cars that don't. The current Cup car is just one that does not agree with me, and I don't know why, but it doesn't. And I just haven't been able to figure it out. The Xfinity car, I'm okay. The trucks I really, really like. Indy cars are, of course, that's well documented. But the Cup car, I'll give you a hint. I didn't even own the next gen Cup. I didn't even own the current Cup car until I adminned a league that ran them. As we see cars streaming toward pit road. But that was the goal, and it didn't happen for James Hodgson. He was going to try to make up a lap the hard way and then get the wave around and get another one.
Yeah, he just started way too far back in the field. There's something interesting materializing on the racetrack, and I'm just trying to figure it out myself here, Mark. But on lap 30, as they're under caution, on the backstretch, you'll find, if you go back and see Barry Seaman, he slows considerably on the backstretch. And going into turn 3, Dylan Johnson is just not ready for a truck to be going that slow. And he closes in on Seaman so fast that he just pile drives him in 3, and they crash and careen from that point on, almost taking another couple of trucks with them. Seaman actually received so much damage that he's tapped out of the race and taken his truck back to the garage area, and Dylan Johnson has suffered considerable damage on the front of his truck.
Yeah.
Just really, really strange how all that transpired.
Yeah, and that is interesting. We typically don't want to show accidents under caution, just because we don't want to give people the idea that if you do something crazy under yellow, we will show you. We'd rather focus on the racing. But that is very interesting, and I was going to ask you why Barry Seaman had tapped out and why Dylan Johnson was was under significant repair. But yeah.
Well, again, we do not know the circumstances.
No.
Seaman slowed down so much that he could have, and we have seen it week in and week out.
Wheel
Sometimes
disconnect.
we have a driver that has mechanical issues, or internet issues, or stem issues, and it affects the truck on the track. And so we don't know why he slowed so much. Dylan Johnson was not prepared for it.
The Horizon IndyCar Series race we had here Wednesday night, Ryan Eric King and I were calling that one. Alex Miller, who was a championship contender in that race, his wheel disconnected not once, not twice, but here's a word for you, Sam: thrice.
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 You're getting all biblical on us and stuff.
I will smite you with a plague of frogs.
All Shakespearean.
Yes, just call me Bill. Pace truck is going to duck on off. We are going to get.
Let's go racing, boys. Strap those belts back in tight. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go, and let's have a clean and green. Let's have a clean and green segment here. Ryan O'Donohue leads them across. Mike George, Chuck Sweeting, Kylan Wilson, and David Dunwoody make up the top 5. And here we go, Sam. They're already 3 wide.
No time wasted. With the 4 fresh good years will make every man brave and heroes. And so we'll see drivers that want to push those tires as hard as they can at the beginning of the run, and we'll see drivers that will actually be a little patient and try to let those other drivers sort their tires out too early.
You will, Sam. Here we go. So Dunwoody makes it to 3rd. Mike George is going to slide into 4th. Kendale Paul has got a load of trouble. He's got the 6th of Jeffrey Hyatt behind him. He's got Kylan Wilson to his outside, and you've got a very fast Chad Winstead up there as well. So Kendale Paul not out of the woods. The front 3 have separated. Dunwoody, amongst everybody else, has been committed to that bottom line more so than anyone. We've seen everybody else kind of go down there for 4 or 5 laps and then start migrating to the top. Dunwoody has been one of the few that has stayed down there. And so let's kind of watch that, Sam, as we go. They are racing hard up at the front. And I got to give a call out, Sam, to the guys in the back. This is, you got Justin Osterman back here, Corey Palerno, Jeremy Dunwoody, Chad Doulabon, Mark Cofield. These trucks were 4 wide not 1 lap ago. They're racing hard back here, laps down. So give them their due.
No one in these races wants to concede to a bad finish.
No.
All these drivers here have proven that they want to race, and that's what they've come to do. Whether they're 4 laps down, like James Hodgson was doing, 4 laps down, and he's got fresh skins on, and he's trying his best to get a lap back the hard way. It doesn't matter. These guys have come to race, and they're going to do everything within their ability to do that. So if they're racing for 12th position, that's what they're going to do. If they can get up front and race for a win, that's what they're going to do. But that's the moniker here at AMA Truck Series is they're willing to do that.
Yeah, they are. And there's, let's make no bones about it, Sam. Chad Dulabon, Mark Cofield are racing back there because as it stands now, one of them is going to be the lucky dog when we get to the next caution flag. Do want to thank everybody in the chat. We've got a great crowd here tonight. Do want to remind everyone that if you're looking for the opening night top split broadcast of the iRacing Indianapolis 500, that is on the sister stream here at P1. That's going to be an ensemble cast. I'm going to take a look over in the broadcast booth. You got Gary Godso running the show over there. You've got Jacob Collins, the Wreck, Ryan Eric King is in there. You've got, my goodness gracious, you've got Darby in there. There's 4 people in that room over there, and I bet you they're having a heck of a good time. This is kind of like Indy Week. The 2 weeks of Indy and iRacing are kind of like Christmas for us, aren't they, Sam? At least us, at least me. I don't know about you.
Hey, if you can enjoy Christmas at this time of year, you go for it.
I'll tell you what, there are 15 days, 14 hours, 51 minutes until they drop the green flag for real in Indianapolis. But who's counting, Sam? George.
I mean, really, who's keeping that kind of record?
Who would?
Who wears that watch?
Who
wears that watch?
Is
that a Tag Heuer watch?
No, that's the LED clock on my wall above my rig.
I believe you. I believe every word of what you just said.
There is. So I had a friend, and this is true story. I have a buddy of mine. He's married to a friend of mine from college, and he designs LED signs. That's what he does. And Miller Brewing Company commissioned a sign from him for the 100th Indianapolis 500 that had an LED clock built in. And so that clock can function as a regular clock, but it also has a count down function or count backward function. And there's a little switch on that clock.
It's programmable.
Yeah, well, it's not just that. There's a switch on the back that I can hit, and it will send a signal to a proprietary Miller website, which will then tell it exactly how long it is until the green flag drops at the next Indianapolis 500. Usually I leave my house sometime about 15 hours to go. And then when I come back, my wife has already hit the button to reset it because she does not go to the race. We're watching Brian O'Donohue lead, Chuck Sweeting. Mike George is third. David Dunwoody is falling back to fourth, and he's in the clutches of Kendale Paul. Kylan Wilson is sixth. We'll go back to Chad Winstead in seventh. Jeffrey Hyatt in eighth. How about Billy Elwell in ninth? And Brian, I've avoided the corn sharp, is looking pretty good in 10th. How about that?
Well, he can get all the corn he wants. It's the trees that he wants to avoid.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm here to vouch for the fact that corn does not make a soft landing. I once wrecked a very, very nice, and I'd probably still be driving it if I hadn't wrecked it, Chevrolet Monte Carlo Super Sport into corn. And it was mature corn. And the corn was owned by my great-grandmother. And one of the funny bits of that story was they totaled my car, obviously, but they also paid my great-grandmother for the corn that I destroyed. About 15 years later, she had passed away. We're cleaning out the house. And you know what was on her refrigerator in a laminated sleeve?
A picture of the car.
No, the check for the corn.
What?
She just put it in a laminated sleeve, and on the back it was endorsed. I mean, it had expired 15 years ago, and she had endorsed it back to me.
Who's that in the wall? That's David Dunwoody in the wall.
Yeah, and we've got one on pit road. We've got one coming down pit road. That's Michael Kirk. David Dunwoody keeps on trucking. He is in 8th spot now.
He's losing so many positions right there.
Yeah, let's see if we can't
really spread that group out as well.
Yeah, let's see if we can't get a bead on what happened to Dunwoody. He goes into turn number 3 extremely high. That's a high entry, even if you're running high. He gets it loose. There's the wall, and once you get into that wall, Sam, you can't get out.
Blue is real.
Yeah.
They call it the Elmer's turn for a reason.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Now, Dunwoody's got it back going again, but he lost a ton of spots. Meanwhile, Billy Elwell and Brian Sharp are having at it for 10th. You've got Jim Duda and Ted Craven. They're having a battle. Craven just, I think, lifted out of that. But you're having a heck of a battle back there for 11th and 12th.
This is exactly some of the racing that you would expect here at Kansas. That once they get sorted out, it's just you want to work on the next truck ahead of you. Just keep working. Try to work the truck as well as you can, preserve as much tire as you can, and then just.
Whoa! Chad Winstead gets into the wall a little bit.
He is in the wall as Jeffrey Hyatt gets on the inside of him, and now David Dunwoody gets on the. Is that Brian Sharp?
He's working to the inside of Brian Sharp.
Brian Sharp's on the outside of Dunwoody.
Yeah, Brian Sharp's on the outside of Dunwoody. You got the 0-3 of Jim Duda trying to follow him through.
Big run here.
Yeah, big run. I think Dunwoody could have some damage here, and I think he's just trying to hang on until we get to the stage break. He knows he's fast. He just needs to hang on, stay on the lead lap, come in and get for Mr. Feelgood, straighten out the sheet metal. She'll be all right. Meanwhile, Billy Elwell was kicking up dust right around the top. Brian Sharp is going to dive to the bottom of Billy. And let's see if he can make that stick going into turn 3.
Ron is racy tonight.
You know,
he does really being in Kansas. Just to clarify, being in Kansas, he doesn't even have to worry about corn because wheat is the primary product of Kansas.
Yeah, now
the primary product of Iowa.
I have never crashed a car into wheat. I would surmise that is less of a soft landing than corn, though.
Well, I've never seen a horror movie called Children of the Wheat.
Now, I will say this. I have not personally done so, but in Indiana, we either grow corn or soybeans, and my home dirt track, the Tri-State Speedway in Homestead, Indiana, just over the turns 3 and 4 wall is a 2-lane country highway and a soybean field, and I have seen many a sprint car clear the billboards in turns 3 and 4 at Hofstadt and find their way into the soybean patch. I've seen that many a time, but I cannot recall a car being crashed into a wheat field. So we'll have to check on that. Maybe we'll send Brian Sharp a message and see if he can oblige us later on today. Meanwhile, Kylan Wilson.
Winstead's really all over the bumper of Paul Witt here, so they're trying to fight for the 6th position. And then Kylan Wilson is agitating Jeffrey Wyatt. Gets into the wall on the backstretch.
There's at least 2 cars a lap that either get loose out of turn number 4 or turn number 2 and smack the fence.
And use that wall up.
Or they get real close to it. Kylan Wilson was all over the back of Jeffrey Hyatt. They're battling for 5th. You were right. Paul Witt and Chad Winstead were fighting for 7th. That's not much of a fight anymore. Paul Witt has cleared it. We're going to keep it right here on Kylan Wilson and Jeffrey Hyatt.
Paul Witt's catching this duo. He's catching this duo ahead of him.
Yeah, he is. But we're going to kind of keep it here because this is the best. This is the hottest battle on track. I'm not going to say it's the only pass being made because it's not, but it's definitely the hottest battle, or at least it was. Gonna kind of flip back here too.
Now you're looking at where Chad Winstead again is now just battling with Jim Duda and Billy Elwell.
You called that, Sam. This is the last bit of stage points right here. Jim Duda has come to the front. Brian Sharp is wicked loose off a 2, slides it down the backstretch.
What a handful! A handful!
Yeah, he's just waiting on a stage caution. Meanwhile, you've got comers and goers. You've got the 50. That is Dylan Johnson. That's not for position. Elwell and Winstead have the last 2 positions for stage points here, and they'd like to keep him if they can. And I think Elwell could like to move a position forward if he can on Chad Winstead.
Well, Dylan Johnson is not going to have anything to do with that. He's wanting to get in the mix of these lead lap trucks, and he's trying to make up ground, which he could very well either he saved tire or he has used one of those extra steps. And Billy Elwell runs Chad Winstead almost all the way to the wall.
So
he gives a shout out to Chad Winstead and lets him know that was not intentional. It was just so much push in the truck.
He was he was hanging on. Dylan Johnson, 13 laps down. He is just freshly off a pit lane, 12 laps. And so everybody else, 24 green flag laps on their tires. They are just about ready for the stage to be over. Looking at Billy Elwell here, he is the final spot for stage points. Everybody else in this top 10 is pretty much decided. Brian Sharp and Ted Craven look like they're going to try to draw a bead on Billy Elwell for that final stage point, though, Sam.
Yeah, the only battle that I'm really watching closely is back in the 14th, 15th position with Liam Anderson and David Dunwoody. Of course, Justin Osterman is back in this race as well. Yeah, it's David Dunwoody. David Dunwoody must have used up a bit of the truck earlier in this run because he's dropped quite a few positions since the start of the stage.
Yeah, he got in the wall pretty good over there, Sam. Remember, and I would bet that there's some sort of either, and you can kind of see the right.
Could be wheel damage.
Yeah, it could have wheel damage. The suspension geometry could be off. And he's just trying to limp it to. He's just trying to limp it to the stage and get it fixed. Well, we got trouble in the back. Donald Green is around, and that is.
Oh, and he saves it. Oh, he's going to save it.
He's going to save it. That was Chad Dulabon. Watch this. This is wild, Sam. You see the scrapes on Dulabon's truck. He's already had a rough night. Donald Green is going to do what we've seen so many do. He's going to get up and catch the outside wall coming off of 2. And Chad Dulabon just doesn't have anywhere to go. They get together and watch this save. That is Donald Green.
Yeah, Donald, that truck is screaming, pushing off of 2. And once he makes contact, it's hard to save the truck.
It is. That
Honestly,
is the
contact by Dulabon actually helped correct him enough that he could save it.
That is the stage. 60 of 134 complete. Ryan O'Donohue going to win stage 2. Chuck Sweeting, Mike George, Kendall Paul, Jeffrey Hyatt, your top 5. How about Kylan Wilson, Paul Witt, Jim Duda, Chad Winstead in the final stage point? Well, that's going to be claimed by Billy Elwell in 10th. Whew. Sam, I'm glad we get to take a breath.
No, this is exciting. It's really interesting to see how these drivers are able to save tire and actually move back up through the field, or if they're burning some up and then they fall down through the field. And now, if this next stage unfolds like we think that it may, you can really see the cream rise to the top again, as we said during qualifying. That you're going to find the drivers that know how to run this particular racetrack are going to lead this stage and utilize their opportunities of pit strategy.
Yeah, we're going to see some pit stops here. Before we do that, do want to thank Archway Industrial Coatings, the sponsor of the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. They're a St. Louis-based flooring company that have been getting the job done for years. They have epoxy and urethane flooring solutions that withstand the test of time, all while meeting their customers' installation schedules and budgets. They're committed to doing the highest quality work at the lowest possible cost every time. They could tell you more, but they'd rather show you what matters more, the quality of the work. So take a moment to browse their gallery and then email or call for a free quote. Whether it's industrial, commercial, restaurant, retail, or even concrete repair at your home, you found the perfect partner to get the job done now. Get ready to floor it with Archway, and that's at archwaycoatings.com, or you can see Sean Mott. He is number 5 here in the AMA series. The race off pit road has been completed. It's going to be Chuck Sweeting beating out Ryan O'Donohue. He's going to edge out. Well, maybe not. I thought maybe he had gotten the nod. Off of pit road. We have a nerd sighting in our chat, Sam. You know who that is, don't you?
Wags?
That's right. So the nerds and dorks have made their way to the P1 Broadcasting channel. Matty Wagner has joined us, and of course, he and Mike Rigney immediately begin teasing each other because, well, that's kind of what we do. We're all, for those of you who don't know, we all race together and are very good friends, and so We like to give each other a hard time. Whenever and wherever that opportunity presents itself, right, Sam?
Oh, of course.
60
Family reunions, and Mike Rigney's responsible for all the corn dogs.
Yes, and apparently since I'm attending the sim gaming expo, and I like my creature comforts, I managed to procure myself a suite at the hotel, and so the rest of everybody else has declared my room the hospitality suite. So that's wonderful, isn't it, Sam?
Of course.
I'm always happy.
Does that mean they get to charge everything to your room?
They probably will anyway, but I'm always happy to contribute to the delinquency of good people, and so more than welcome up there, boys. Just please don't break any. Just please don't break anything this time.
Mass is going to be really important for you when you return.
Confession will be several hours long. I'm guessing.
We don't call that confession. We call that therapy.
Oh my goodness gracious! Pace Truck is just about ready to duck back into the pit lane. The shadows are out here at Kansas. It continues. We're going to talk about the weather here in just a minute, but it continues to get a little bit darker, Sam.
Green flag. All right, who's going to give Ryan O'Donohue a run for the front here to see if they can get that clean air on the front? Ryan O'Donohue likes that clean air, and he wants to continue to enjoy it. Jeffrey Hyde has raced his way up here into the second spot as we get the restart, and Chuck Tweeding's going to fall in line in suit with Paul Witt close behind him. And Kendall Paul rounds out the top 5 as we head down the backstretch.
Now these guys are being a lot more careful than they were in the first couple of restarts. We have not yet gone 3 wide, although Paul Witt looks like he's thinking about it. Witt is going to...
we have. Chad Winstead just throws that out the window.
Yeah, he
completely to the bottom of the racetrack.
He went down to the apron. He was racing beneath the white line. You're allowed to do that here at Kansas, and he immediately goes to work on the rear deck lid of Kendall Paul.
Whoa, Mike George a little bit free there, coming off a 2, and they're 3 wide going down the backstretch, heading into 3.
Oh, they're leaning on each other. Jim
and that run.
Duda gets into the wall.
That runs Jim Duda up to the wall, and now he's in the glue, and he loses all of that track position.
They do indeed, but it kind of, even though it's bad news for Jim Duda, it did kind of break apart this pack a little bit, which could be good news for the overall situation. Meanwhile, Ryan O'Donohue has dropped to the bottom of Chuck Sweeting. He's going to go for the lead. We also have some agreements. We also have some agreements here for procuring of sustenance there for the Sim Gaming Expo. Rigney says he's bringing the corn dogs. Wag says he's bringing the burgers. Just because they bring them, my guess is they're still charging those to my room, right? Even though they're showing up with them in hand.
There's no charge.
Well, they might show up.
Somebody's going to make the acclamation that there has to be something to wash all that food down. So
there you go. Whoa, Kylan Wilson!
21 of Kylan Wilson gets into the back of Ryan O'Donohue, but O'Donohue is able to save the truck, and he will fall in line.
He did the wiggly woo all the way up the racetrack, did not hit anything. He's going to need to cool the tires down. Paul Witt's going to shoot in the middle between O'Donohue and Jeffrey Hyatt. Now Witt to the bottom of O'Donohue. He needs to really get those tires cooled off. When you wiggle like that,
it does produce heat in those rear tires.
He isn't. Whoa! They get into O'Donohue's around.
It gets into O'Donohue, and they're wrecking down the front stretch. Witt and O'Donohue into the outside wall.
We were watching it. Hard contact for both of those trucks. Caution is on the Speedway, lap 70 of 134. 65 laps to go under the yellow light, and let's see what we've got here with Ryan O'Donohue and Paul Witt.
I just honestly think that O'Donohue probably thought that Witt was going to go down the racetrack at that particular point, but Witt stayed in the middle there.
I think, Sam, we've got a little bit of a netcode situation too. No, they honestly got each other. Ryan O'Donohue.
No, it's definitely contact. It's just that Witt just seemed to be running that middle line, and just out of habit, you just automatically think that the driver inside of you is going to go down to the white line. And so I think that O'Donohue probably thought that Witt was going to be going lower, and he just naturally and habitually just decided to turn down a little bit, and Witt was still there.
He did indeed. So caution is on the speedway. We've got 64 laps to go. We've got two of, and I would have said two of the guys that I was circling among favorites in this one, hard into the outside fence.
Ryan O'Donohue has led a lot of laps in this race. You can only imagine the disappointment that he's probably feeling right now, just having this night ended so early.
It does. Now let the strategy games begin.
Both drivers are still under speed. Let's just go ahead and say they're both under speed.
Yeah, they're both at speed. Neither one hit the front of the truck. You know, it was all side to side or rear contact, so it's cosmetic damage. They'll get that fixed. Meanwhile, the strategy games have begun. David Dunwoody, Ted Craven, Jim Duda all brought their trucks to pit road. Dunwoody 6.2 seconds, Craven 9.3 seconds. Jim Duda is under repair. My guess is
I don't think they can make it here on fuel.
I don't think they're making it on fuel, Sam, but I think they might.
But this is, again, one of those opportunities with a caution here at this particular juncture. This is another one of those opportunities. Even though we're 12 laps in on this set of tires, it is an opportunity that drivers may take advantage of that extra set.
It is, and you know, it gives you options, right? I think Dunwoody Dunwoody may have gone either rights or lefts, but it gives you options as far as fuel goes. So remember, fans, one of the only ways that you can make adjustments to these trucks is we're going to see O'Donohue peel back onto the pit. Well, just leaving the pit lane. One of the only ways that you can make adjustments to these trucks is 2 tires or 4. You can also make adjustments to the way the truck handles with fuel.
I can tell you from experience, two right side tires is a death sentence as far as loose condition goes. Unless you just like a free truck and you can drive it that way, it definitely, those first 10 laps, the truck will be extremely loose.
Now, I've heard of guys taking 2 lefts.
Yes, I've heard of the same.
I've heard taking 2 lefts.
The speed difference is not as dramatic as you would think as it would be with rights.
There isn't. Now,
Hey, Mike George is off the racetrack. He hits the inside retaining wall.
This looks like a wheel disconnect to me, Sam.
This definitely looks like mechanical issue. He just veers completely off the racetrack, like he loses control.
No, well, that's an interesting situation because the wheel doesn't go hard over. I wonder
No, he's actually letting the field know that his screen froze.
Okay.
And apparently the contact that he made with the inside retaining wall actually was enough to end his night.
Oh, wow. So that's another fast truck gone. We're going to go back to green
another
here.
Truck that's been running up front tonight, yeah.
Yes, it is. But that had to have been a mechanical failure. They're not done yet, folks. Justin Osterman, Billy Elwell, 3 wide. Brian Sharp gets clear of that mess. Liam Anderson has made his way up to 7th in the Krause Auto Body Machine. He's got teammate Billy Elwell right behind him. Osterman, though, he's hunting the front. And give a call back to David Dunwoody. Dunwoody wrecked earlier. He's made it back up to 10th, Sam.
Well, you talk about a racer's spirit, then he's proven that that's exactly where his heart is. As we see, Colin Wilson is trying desperately to get around Chuck Sweeting. He was wanting to lead his first AMA race that he's attended, and Kendall Paul is an interested observer back here in 3rd place. And behind those top 3 trucks is a quintet of drivers who are wanting to get up there and race it out with them as well.
Yes, there are. We're watching the 21 Verizon truck of Kylan Wilson. He's going to drop to the bottom of Chuck Sweeting. Sweeting maintains the momentum on the high side, though. He'll lead him down the backstretch. The snarled mess continues behind him, Sam.
We have black flag for Jeremy Dunwoody. There is a black flag on the Speedway for Dylan Johnson, and Corey Palermo is on pit lane 8 minutes in the 0-4 with the meatball, and he must, Sam, you must respect the meatball, and so he's on the pit lane under repair. Mike George has punched out of the number 33, and that is a tough end to his evening. Kendall Paul
ran
was
into the wall off.
well. Kendall Paul is going to climb to the high side of Kylan Wilson. I'd flip back to that. We got a battle for second, and we might have a new leader here in just a moment. Sam, Kendall Paul up to the high side around. He's going to try to get around Kylan Johnson. Meanwhile, there is a knife fight back here for 6th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. That is Justin Osterman on the top. He is going to try to cut between Sharp and Winstead.
This is not unusual for Justin Osterman. He's a risk taker, no question about it, and he squeezes that truck right in the middle of those two drivers.
Yes, he did. Brian Sharp is going to fight back on the bottom. Winstead is going to fight back on the top. They have not yet seen the end of this battle.
Winstead has been knocked around all night long. I'm wondering when he's going to get to the end of his limit.
On board with Liam Anderson, we're going to look through the visor of the Krause Auto Body Chevrolet, and we're just going to enjoy the best seat in the house right here at Kansas. My goodness, Sam.
Billy Ilwell sticks it deep into turn 3 underneath Liam Anderson.
Yeah,
for those that are watching the broadcast, the 18 truck, though it says 18, he's actually being scored as the 8. So just to make a couple of things clear about Liam Anderson.
And no worries, and that's not abnormal, Sam. A lot of guys don't want to paint a different truck for one series, and so if they've got a number that they have, they'll keep it.
iRacing actually does a great job, and Trading Paints does a great job of where you can allocate a special scheme for a certain series.
Do you think I ever figured that out, Sam? I was on here 18 months and before I even knew what Trading Paints was, and that was only because some guy named Dunwoody, called me up and said, "Hey,
let me paint you a car.
Let me paint you a car. As long as let me paint you a car. I'll put my name on the side of it. I'll give it to you. All you gotta do is mention my name. How do I get the paint on the thing? I have no idea." Friendship is.
Billy Elwell's going to go on the inside of Liam Anderson here. I believe those are teammates that are racing one another, and he's all the way down to the apron as they go into one. It's like Billy Elwell make this pass stick.
They are indeed. Elwell to the bottom of Liam Anderson. That's the Liam Anderson Motorsports truck in front. Liam Anderson and the Krause Auto Body machine is behind him. Meanwhile, Justin Osterman at the front of this deal. Well, we're going to leave it right here. David Dunwoody has entered this chat, and he's got company in the form of Jim Duda and Tyler Moore, and those are two fast trucks as well. Whoa, Dunwoody. He looked like he was going to cut to the bottom. He goes to the top instead. He's going to try to get around Liam Anderson. They're awfully close in the middle of the corner. They're going to get away with it, Sam.
Oh, what a line that Dunwoody took right there. That was a brave line that he took right there.
And he just about paid it off by putting the truck in the fence one more time. He avoids that fate, though. Liam Anderson hanging tough on the bottom, but it's not going to be enough. So Dunwoody's going to get by. He's going to go to 9th. He'll set sail after Billy Elwell and Chad Winstead. Meanwhile, Brian Sharp and Justin Osterman, they're going after Jeffrey Height here. This is a battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th.
What a run by Brian Sharp tonight.
He's avoided the corn, the trees, the wheat, the whole 9 yards. He hasn't hit anything with
now can he avoid an Osterman?
Yeah, can he avoid?
What a great battle that we see going on here. 4th, 5th, 6th, and then there's a nice little bee's nest behind them. All the way through the top 10. Even though we see Chuck Sweeting kind of steadily pulling away with Kendall Paul and Colin Wilson in tow, they are starting to leave the rest of the pack behind. And now we see Dunwoody up into the fence, and he's in the glue, and now it's going to allow trucks to catch him and pass him on coming out of 4.
Yeah, all that hard work for David Dunwoody goes out the window with the wall glue. He's been playing hard and playing. He's been playing hard and getting close tonight with that wall.
Big run by Oscar coming off of 2 here. He should be able to pull Jeffrey Hyatt down the backstretch, and he does. He clears him. Hyatt should fall in line, but Hyatt's been utilizing that bottom line. Some drivers here have a lot of success, and I just ran a race here last night in the trucks, and the winner of that particular race ran the middle line late in the run. Actually, there were a lot of drivers that were utilizing that high line at the end of the stages, but he had a lot of success running that middle line, and he maintained a lot of momentum and speed for the night. So I have seen some drivers who've shown some success running that middle line.
Yeah, and it's each his own here. So you'll see guys migrate to the top. You'll see guys in the middle. I was always one that tried to wrap the bottom here.
I've been the same way. Yeah.
I just always felt like that saved the tires more. To be effective on that high line, you really, I think, have to abuse your stuff. And I always felt like in long.
You're in the throttle longer, of course.
Yeah, I just always felt like, I mean, you could make moves up there, but just I always felt like in a long run, I would reel guys in if I just stayed on the bottom and was real easy with the throttle and smooth and such. Speaking of easy and smooth, Kendall Paul has caught Chuck Sweeting. They are starting to lead Kylan Wilson. So the front two are getting after the pace. They're getting after each other. The Osterman and Jeffrey Hyatt, though, they're determined to run side by side, I think, for the next 45 laps. Osterman finally will clear Hyatt, but he's not done, Sam. He just runs right back down on the bottom, and even inches ahead, he might clear Osterman.
Oh, is it going to be a slide job here? No, he's going to run that middle line and go down to the apron on the front stretch. These two drivers have actually been doing this lap in, lap out for the last few laps.
I don't think I would pull the slide job on Justin Osterman. I don't know about you,
Sam.
No,
not on Justin Osterman.
I think I'd make sure I was clear.
Like 2 counties.
I'm going to make sure I am clear. This is the battle for 4th and 5th. Hyatt and Osterman are trading it. And see, there he's clear, but he's not going to pull up. Mike George is cheering on his Dark Horse Performance teammates from the chat. Raymond Bargo, I'd like to say hello to you. You've been in here for just a little bit, didn't get a chance. And Justin Osterman gets up in the wall there, but he does not get the glue, and so that's good for him.
There's a big gap there for Jeffrey Hyatt in this. He does great job running the bottom line and clearing Osterman, and he's going to stick with it down there.
Yes, he does, and I think Hyatt has adopted our strategy, Sam. He's going to stay on the bottom. He's going to save his stuff. There is going to be a pit stop at some point. You can run, 45, 50 laps on gas here, Sam?
Yeah, a lot of drivers are probably going to split this up, and they're probably going to go to about lap 100 or lap 100 to 105, and then start making pit stops to split this run up and utilize the tires in a way where they can get as much speed through the run as they can. The longer you stay out there, of course, your lap times are going to suffer for it. And if you split this run up, especially if you save two sets of tires at this particular point, then it's not going to harm anything if a late race caution comes out and you can go in and get fresh rubber. To me, it just makes sense to come in about if I'm not running up front, it would only make sense for me to come in about lap 100 to 105 and then run that short pit everyone else. Especially if you're Jeffrey Hyatt, Justin Osterman, or Brian Sharp. They're in that, or even Jim Duda or Billy Elwell, they're within that 5-6 second mark. You can make up quite a bit of ground in 10 laps if the drivers that are up front, if they stay out with old tires. So pit strategy can come into play here.
It's going to.
Yeah.
It's going to, Sam. So I was just looking at those numbers. Kendall Paul is taking the lead from Chuck Sweeting. The difference in lap times from new tires to old ones is about a second and a half. So
yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, it's big time. Kendall Paul's fastest lap. We're watching the battle, by the way, 8th, 9th, 10th. And David Dunwoody is going back by Billy Elwell. So these two are after it again for the final spot in the top 10. We've got 40 laps to go, but Kendall Paul's fastest lap, 30.894. His last lap, 32.514, so 1.7 seconds. And I've got to believe that having been out 32 laps, that these guys are going to be looking to hit pit road anytime within the next 5 or so if they're going to split it in two, Sam.
Very possible. We're going to be the first to see who dictates where these pit stops start. Just simply because when one truck comes in and gets fresh tires, that's going to initiate the trucks that were running around him. They're not going to want to lose time to that particular truck, so it'll initiate those same drivers to want to come in and make a pit stop as well. So once one comes in, you could very well see almost all the leaders come in. I can't imagine why the leaders would allow the markers behind them to make up a ton of ground by staying out an extra 5 laps. It just wouldn't be beneficial.
Yeah, and there they go.
We got drivers that are calling pit stops right now.
Yeah, here they are.
Jim Duda is coming in. Billy Elwell's coming in.
And
they are in that pack right there, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. They're in that pack right back there. They're going to be coming into the pit lane.
What a pit entrance for Billy Elwell. He used up every bit of that to get down pit lane. We're also going to see Ted Craven come in. This is the bid here from Elwell, Duda, and Craven to try to win the race. Short pit, get the lead.
David Dunwoody has announced his pit.
Yeah, here comes Dunwoody. So these guys, they're making their bid to win the race. Do want to thank Mike George for the super chat. We do appreciate you, buddy. Everybody at P1 appreciates.
Mike, we're so sorry for the end of your night. You've been so consistent these past weeks. Oh, Donald Green. Wow, that was so close.
Now, he's not done yet. He almost gets the pit cone, but Donald Green comes in. Donald's having a heck of a night, Sam.
He's got that new paint scheme.
Yeah, he's got him some new paint. He's got the new paint. He's running in the top 15. He's been there all night. Good night for Donald Green. Kendall Paul will continue to lead it. And, for Mike George and Matty Wags and Mike Rigney, everybody in the AMA, in the chat here for the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series, the question is, when is that man going to come to pit road? Kylan Wilson is second. He's nearly a second back.
Yeah, but he's fighting. Chuck Sweeting's not done with him here, so Chuck Sweeting's going to make they're going to race here for the second position.
They are, but the question is, when are Kylan Wilson and Chuck Sweeting going to hit pit lane? When is Kendall Paul going to hit pit lane? And the stopwatch is going to tell the story. I'm waiting on the first lap for Billy Elwell. He's going to be the canary in the coal mine. Last time by, Kendall Paul, 32.486. Billy Elwell, 30.916. So a second and a half for Billy Elwell. Watching that. So, and Elwell is the fastest of that group that's already stopped. So 30.9 flat for Elwell, 32.637 for Kendall Paul. Kylan Wilson and Chuck Sweeting are slower than Paul. Of course, they're fighting each other, and they need to be careful because they have cars with fresh tires behind them. And this is when this can get dangerous too, Sam. When you've got
but critically dangerous. Yes, that's a great point, Mark. Just simply based on the fact that you've got drivers that are running lap times that are a second and a half faster than these trucks on older tires. The closing rate is much faster. Choosing a line that you're comfortable with at that speed changes simply because you're trying to maneuver around lap traffic. I'm only thinking that some of these leaders are staying out because they had built up quite a bit of a lead, and that they're hoping that either a caution comes out and they'll be solidified in their top 10 by being on the lead lap, or they're just trying to, again, that between 100 and 105, they're just trying to narrow it down to a 25 to 30 lap run where they can really push the truck as hard as they can in the closing stages.
Chad Winstead has a black flag. Too fast on pit road, too fast entering.
Can anything else happen to Chad Winstead tonight?
I mean, Matty Wags is in the chat urging Kylan Wilson pit now. He says Jeffrey Hyatt has almost caught these two, but now Hyatt is gonna hit pit road, as is Kendall Paul. So the leader is pit. Tyler Moore has got the black flag. He is too fast exiting, or excuse me, he is also too fast entering pit road. And I think the window for Kylan Wilson to do the short pit.
Death sentence of a penalty, 40-second hold in the pit area for entry.
Yeah, that's pretty much your toast.
Yes, that's your night.
Now Wilson and Sweeting, the only if you're staying out here, you're committed, I believe, to running the entire run, because not pitting with Kendall Paul means that you've lost the ability to do the undercut. You're going to lose a ton of time. But they're going to have a lap on the field pretty much. Liam Anderson and Paul Witt have also stayed out. Everybody from fifth on back has made their pit stops. And so, I understand Witt and Anderson, maybe they're kind of gambling on a caution. Don't quite figure the strategy for Sweeting and Wilson. Maybe we'll get a chance to ask them.
Well, if they have clean pit stops tonight, this last set of tires that they may be putting on, if it goes green, then and they get a podium finish, then it's certainly going to make an interesting interview to find out what their mindset was running and racing here so late into the stage. I'm really surprised that they're staying out this particular amount of laps. If you go too far on these old tires, then even if you have fresh rubber and you're out there making fast laps, you could lose so much time. You may not have enough laps to make up. Space.
Yeah, and that's kind of where Sweeting and Wilson are now.
They're in a very precarious place, that's for sure.
Now, the one thing that is in their favor, if there's an accident that happens out there, Sweeting, Wilson, Anderson.
Chuck Sweeting just called his pit stop.
Yep. So here they come.
Colin Wilson looks like he's going to follow suit. Now both trucks are slowing down, coming out of 4. Oh, Colin Wilson is hot coming in there. He closes it down, and he's able to stop.
Black flags for both. Black flags, both Sweeting and Kylan Wilson.
Oh, they were fast, both coming in. So hot. Wow.
Too fast, the 75 and the 21.
I wondered about the 21, but I had no idea that Sweeting was going too fast as well.
Yeah, what
a heartbreak for those two drivers.
Now, Liam Anderson is going to be your leader. He has scored as the leader in the Krause Auto Body Chevrolet. And so there he is. Paul Witt continues to run. Witt is a second behind Liam. Liam Anderson has been out 46 laps. Witt 37. They are giving up 1.2 seconds, essentially, to Billy Elwell, Kendall Paul, Jeffrey Hyatt. Billy Elwell has leapt Kendall Paul. That's going to be a short-lived situation. But if the caution fell right now, Billy Elwell would look like a genius because he'd be third. We still only have the top 10 on the lead lap. And so Liam Anderson, if he's able to get that fortuitous caution, and that's what he's playing at, if he's able to get that fortuitous caution, Sam, he's going to look like a genius.
Paul is about to eat Billy Elwell's lunch right here on the backstretch as he makes the pass. He does have considerably more or less laps on his tires. Jeffrey Hyde is going to be next on the hit parade as he's catching Billy Elwell under these circumstances. And then Kendall Paul is making up a tremendous track position on those fresh tires.
Now, here's the story for Elwell. When he embarked on this strategy, he was 9th. And so he's got 10 seconds back to Ted Craven. And Ted Craven is on the same tire strategy.
He just announced his pit stop. I think Liam Answer just announced his pit stop to Jeffrey Hyatt.
Yep. And so we're going to follow Liam Anderson.
Or he may have just been giving Hyatt instructions of where to pass him. I may have misinterpreted that.
It could be. I mean, well, if you're Liam, you got to stay out here until that baby is bone dry. But here he comes. He's already on the apron, moving it toward pit lane. And let's see if he can get it woed up here.
And Chuck Sweeting has decided that penalty is just too much for him, and he's taking the truck behind the wall.
He has done so, so that's going to give the lead to Paul Witt. Witt can still go another 8 or 9 laps, Sam, which would put him within 10 to go.
And look who's knocking on the top 10 right now. Look at who's knocking on the top 10. I just want to mention that.
Ryan O'Donoghue. We're not going to say any names of anybody who hasn't scored the top 10. Ryan O'Donoghue is 12th, 1 lap down. He is ahead of Kylan Wilson, though, after the penalty. So good deal for Ryan O'Donoghue to recover from that accident. Other names that you may recognize from past AMA races, Chad Dudelman involved in contact. He is 17th. Mark Cofield, the same. He is 16th. Chad Winstead, early speed. He suffered a speeding ticket, as did Tyler Moore and Kylan Wilson. They are 13, 14, and 15th on the run. Liam Anderson ran it long. That did put him a lap down in 12th, but now he's going to have the fast. He's going to have the rocket ship. Ryan O'Donoghue has been out 42 laps, and so he's going to have to pit. We're just kind of waiting on Paul Witt here to see when Paul Witt is going to bring his car down the pit lane, Sam.
And depending on who saved tires and who hasn't saved tires, Paul Witt, if he catches the lucky caution here, Paul Witt is going to be coming across as the Albert Einstein of truck racing tonight. Mark Cofield calls his pit.
Yes, they are. Yes, they do. So Cofield coming to pit lane. O'Donoghue, remember, is the same amount of laps as Paul Witt, although O'Donoghue is 1 lap down. Do want to thank everybody who has found us while watching the P1 presentation of the opening night of the iRacing Indianapolis 500. In case you were curious, that race is being led by a name I don't know. That's Vasquez. Jaden Munoz is second. Hamilton Akabuezi, the overall pole sitter, is third. Brendan Lichtenberg, a community notable, is fifth. You've got Jason Brophy in 10th. And that would be, Kyle Clinworth just set the fastest lap, but they're 44 laps into 200 over there. And so just to kind of let you know what's going on the open wheel side of the house, do want to thank everybody that's watching here. If you want to see more racing action, P1's got you covered all throughout Indianapolis, month here on iRacing. It's the opening night of the Indy Fixed Indianapolis 500 top split. Right now, they are about 45 laps in here. Well, we've got 17 laps to go. Paul Witt is your leader, and the petrol in the tank has got to be getting awfully short, Sam.
We have when Paul Witt made his last pit stop?
We do. It was 47 laps ago. So the longest we've seen anybody go tonight is 50, and that was Liam Anderson.
And just as we're saying that, Paul Witt just announced his pit stop. He's letting Chad Winstead and Keith Graham behind him know that he'll be coming in this time by. Donald Green in the laps prior to Witt's pit call, Donald Green actually raced his way back onto the lead lap.
Yes, he did, and that's going to hand the lead back over to Kendall Paul. And so do want to kind of set the field for you here. Kendall Paul, he is going to be in the lead. That's the Storm Tracker 78. Jeffrey Hyatt is second. Justin Osterman third in the 53. David Dunwoody, nice recovery for Dunwoody. He is fourth. And how about Billy Elwell in the 67? He runs fifth. Jim Duda is going to be sixth in the 03. Ryan Sharp has avoided the trees, wheat, soybeans, and corn to run seventh. The Teddy Bear Ted Craven is eighth. Liam Anderson has brought his truck back onto the lead lap in 10th. And how about the paint job for Donald Green? He is in 9th for Danger Close Racing. And Donald, we are thinking about you. I know your wife's watching. She's thinking about you. You need a good run, buddy. Keep it together. 14 laps to go. Donald Green might, if we got time, Sam, Donald Green might be might be the first ninth place guy I pull in the booth.
You're setting a precedent by doing that, you know. We'll have to randomly pull drivers from other positions in here. But that doesn't hurt my feelings. I think it's a great idea. I wish they would do it more often, just simply to you know, for drivers that normally don't get into those podium positions, just give them an opportunity to just come in and share their sponsor and their thoughts. I love that when broadcasts do that.
Yeah, and I think we might do that if Donald's able to bring it home with the top 10 tonight. He's got 12 laps, 18 miles to go. The closest battle for position here is Billy Elwell and Jim Duda. Billy Elwell.
Oh, and Elwell's into the wall.
Yeah, that's going to let Duda.
Is going to take full advantage of that down the backstretch.
Yeah. Now the good news for Elwell is it's another nearly 3 seconds back to Brian.
Oh, he's in the wall again.
Yeah, it's another 3 seconds back to Brian Sharp. So he's got, you know, he's got some runway there to get himself going, get his rhythm back.
Yeah, right. He has a little bit of leniency.
Yeah, he does. Now it was Elwell who was the early stopper. And remember, he was running, 8th or 9th before that?
And now we have two trucks in the back on the backstretch into each other. Oh, and Jim Duda splits them. They're still avoiding those trucks as they're slow on the backstretch. That may have been our late race caution. We just averted it.
It's Mark Cofield and Michael Kirk. Cofield is on the bottom of the racetrack on the apron. Michael Kirk is going to get there. They're both going to make the pit lane.
So close. And Kirk just washes up the racetrack there, just door to door there, and make contact out of two, and they just can't get off of each other.
No, and here they go into the wall, and you know, here they go into the wall, and they are laps down, but Sam, they're racing for position. It's not like this is just a meaningless contest. I mean, they're racing for position.
You're exactly right, Mark. You're exactly right.
And then they can't get off each other.
And again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier in the race. It doesn't matter if you're racing for 20th or 18th, or if you're racing just to get a lap back, or if you're racing for the win. These guys are racers. That's what they want to do. That's why they show up, is that wherever they're at, they're going to race for that spot. And that's an excellent example of that. And unfortunately, these two drivers had to suffer for contact late in the event.
My goodness, watch the onboard for Jim Duda here. I know we've got 8 laps to go, and Kendall Paul's leading the race, and this is his home track, and he's going to be an excited dude. But Jim Duda, my goodness gracious, splitting those two trucks like that. Duda has now pulled it up on the back of David Dunwoody, and we'll see if Jim Duda can get by Dunwoody here. That is even Steven on tires there. So Jim Duda is looking to see if he can't make it a 4th place run. So it's Kendall Paul, Jeffrey Hyatt, Justin Osterman, the top 3. Dunwoody and Jim Duda round out your top 5.
Colin Wilson has fresher tires here. I think he's going to have something to say about this.
Well, he might if he wasn't a lap down.
Oh, that's true. That's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so he's a lap down. Remember, he got the speeding ticket.
Yeah, the speeding penalty. That's right.
And he got the speeding ticket. So that is not for position Kylan Wilson. Billy Elwell looks really good on that strategy. He's going to pick up about 3 spots, and just need Donald Green to keep it moving in the right direction for 6 more laps. He would round out the top 10, and that would be an awesome night for Donald Green. But he's going to be under fire from Paul Witt, and he's got Chad Winstead between them. It was
our last truck to pit, and he has
20 laps, yeah. So there he goes.
Right.
Meanwhile, Donald Green was one of the earliest stoppers, and so his good years are just about run out.
Considering all the events that Donald Green has had to endure in races past, this is a great showing for Donald Green.
Hard into the wall, Donald. Keep it straight. We talked about you. We've mentioned you. Don't succumb now. To the broadcasters. Just
run your laps, Donald. You're going to be fine. You're going to be great.
Yeah, none of this is for position. Kylan Wilson is 12 seconds behind him. That would be the next position. So he can, as long as he keeps it pointed straight, he's going to be in good shape. I do thank Mike Rigney for pointing out everybody that has not already done it. Make sure you smash the like button, ring on the video, ring the bell to subscribe to the channel.
Every little bit helps. We've recently passed 1,000 subscribers, and I know that there is a special paint scheme coming from my Monday night broadcast partner, Kyle Clinworth. And so anybody who subscribes to the channel has a chance to be on his car. Watching Donald Green, that is the story. Can Donald bring it home with an 11th place finish? We've got 4 laps to go here at Kansas.
Kendall Paul has decided that class is in session, and he is going to take this field to the task and to school, as he has opened up quite a lead here at Kansas.
Yes, he has.
Jeffrey Hyatt and Justin Osterman, they are both subsequently running in second and third, and there's quite a bit of distance between the trucks now. Everything seems to be spread out except for this race between Jim Duda and David Dunwoody for the 4th spot.
Yes, they are, and so Kendall Paul, he's going to be looking here, coming off of turn 2. He's got about a lap and a half left. There is nobody in sight. The next car back to him is Jeffrey Hyatt, and that's about Jeffrey Hyatt is Kendall Paul coming off of turn number 4. Jeffrey Hyatt is exiting turn 4 as Kendall Paul crosses the start-finish line. So it is not the win is not in doubt here. White flag is out from Barney. The win is not in doubt. It's just going to be the margin, and really none of the top 10 are in doubt except Paul Witt and Liam Anderson. And
he has a chance to overtake Liam Anderson here with those fresh tires.
Yes, he does.
And it's going to be so close, and Liam Anderson is able to hold the position.
Well, they're not done yet. They're coming toward the line.
Oh, they just took the white flag. I see.
They just took the white flag. We're watching.
There goes Paul Witt. Oh, he's in the wall, and they make contact going down the backstretch. They're still wrecking down the backstretch. Oh no!
Liam Anderson in the fence. No. Paul Witt is going to come across the line, and we're going to go back and take. Oh no! A hard lick for Liam Anderson. So this is the battle for 10th. Anderson cannot finish worse than 10th, by the way, because these were the last 2 cars on the lead lap.
No, Paul Witt gets into the wall. Liam really just kind of squeezes him a little bit up there, but there's still room, and Paul Witt gets into the wall and comes off of the wall, and they make contact, and they just can't get off of each other. Oh, heartbreak for Liam Anderson there. The Liam Anderson racing team had 2 top 10 finishes working right there until that particular incident.
Now, they still do have 2 top 10 finishes. So, Liam was the last car on the lead lap. And
was he able to get the truck turned around in time?
No, so Donald Green had already...
Oh, it was the final lap.
It was the final lap, and Donald Green in 11th was a lap down and already taken the checkered. So, Liam Anderson, as long as...
He doesn't lose the position.
No, doesn't. He doesn't lose the position. So, that is the end of the proceedings this evening. My goodness, Sam. Another amazing, fun and exciting night.
This is the kind of racing that Kansas produces. Really, I personally love racing like this, where it relies on pit strategy, tire preservation. It just, there's so many factors that come into play at this particular racetrack, and so pit penalties really were a factor for several drivers as well tonight. And then, of course, the big wreck that happened early on the front stretch. You can't watch a race like this, Mark, and not say that you did not get a little bit of everything.
You didn't, and the man who got the trophy and got the money, that's going to be Kendall Paul. He brings it home 4.9 seconds over Jeffrey Hyatt. Justin Osterman is going to be third. David Dunwoody and Jim Duda round out your top 5. Here in the Be Weather Ready 200 presented by SKP Storm Tracker 78. Billy Elwell. How about the top 10 run? Billy Elwell is going to bring it home in 6th. Brian Sharp avoids all obstacles to come home. 7th, Ted Craven.
It's a fresh loaf of bread with all that wheat.
That's right. Ted Craven is 8th. Paul Witt, the late charge 9th. And Liam Anderson is going to round out your top 10. Donald Green. How about Donald Green in 11th? Kylan Wilson 12th. Tyler Moore 13th. Chad Winstead and Chad Dulabon, the Chad and Chad Show, they're going to come home 14th and 15th. Ryan O'Donohue, James Hodgson, Jeremy Dunwoody,
You don't
and
say
Keith.
that very often.
That's right, Keith Graham.
Chad, 14th and 15th.
No joke. They're going to run out the runners. Mark Cofield is the first car out of the race in 20th. Michael Kirk, Chuck Sweeting, Mike George, Dylan Johnson, Corey Palermo, Barry Seaman, and Jared Duda also participated but did not finish. I did not run tonight, Sam, and I would have very much liked to have done so. John Hutchins registered,
Me too.
but did not take the green. And I would interview Donald. We're going to bring Donald Green up here when he gets a top 10, Sam.
I like it.
Not
like
if, but when. I will make that promise, Sam.
Well, then let's just pull Brian Sharp in here and let's talk to Brian.
No, Brian Sharp is mean, and I don't want to talk to him. But I do want to talk to Justin Osterman. Justin, you've got Mark and Sam in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got y'all.
You do. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. You had an eventful night, as most of them are. Drove it back to third. Did you have anything for Kendale, or was school in session today from the front?
Oh, it was definitely in session, man. That teacher's in as always with Kendall, man. That man was gone after that stop. I was doing everything I could but break that right pedal, trying to catch up to him, trying to make it clean through that traffic. It was quite an eventful night after that lap 3 or 4 punt I got, and then we drove it back around. I love Kansas, so it's one of my favorite tracks. So I was hoping I had something good on the other end, and we got lucky, I think. So I'm just thankful for the position. It was quite an eventful drive.
No question, you had a great finish tonight. We're ecstatic that you made the podium, but part of that exciting racing that was going on was certainly some of the moves that you were making early on in those traffic situations. Tell us a little bit about your thought processes as you're kind of weaving that 53 in the middle of a 3 wide situation and just trying to make the most of it.
Oh, I mean, I don't like being in lap traffic or back there in the pack. There's just too many shenanigans that can go on, and I've been involved in too many. So I was like, I just want to get past that, get up there in the clean air somewhat, and do what I can do, and hopefully come out on top like we did. We're better off that we started. So I mean, I'm pretty comfy going 3 wide, and it's just, I don't know, it's a little fun, just having fun out there. So.
There's no question you bring the excitement week in and week out, so we're certainly.
That's why you gave me the idea for my Xfinity paint. I hit up Dunwoody. I was like, well, I think the name stuck, so I guess we got to get a car to match.
Well, great finish tonight, Justin. We're really excited for you and hope to see you again.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Absolutely, Justin. As is the tradition here at P1, you finish on the podium, you get the mic, friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs. The floor is yours, my man.
I'll try to make this quick. First of all, I want to
Please.
thank Carry All RC. That is my #1 sponsor for RC. I do the hobby grade stuff, so gave me my big break there, so I appreciate that. And then I want to thank all the boys at DPI I run with, and thanks for them having me, and Storm Tracker, and I don't even know who else. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean,
it's all right. Hey, we get it. You're on the podium. Take your time. Make the most of it.
Yeah, man. I want to thank y'all in the booth too for sticking with us week in and week out, man. Y'all do such a fantastic job. I love going back and watching the races. It is so entertaining to have y'all with us, man. I love it. Thank you. And I think that'll be it for me. I'll let y'all move on.
Well, go celebrate with your family.
Yes, sir. I will.
100%, Justin. Great to have you in tonight. Keep going fast, having fun, buddy, and we'll see you at the next one.
Yes, sir. Y'all take.
You too.
Will do. That is Justin Osterman. He is going to be credited with 3rd place tonight. In 2nd, we have Mr. Jeffrey Hyatt. Jeff, you've got Mark and Sam in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'll ask you the same question. You got to 2nd. Anything for Kendall Paul, or was it not gonna get in there in the Bobby Taylor Oil Company machine?
Yeah, no, I seen him duck down the pit, and I said, well, I'm gonna follow him and see if maybe he'll burn his stuff up, and I have a shot. And it's like once we got back out there, like he just took off, and I was just at that point I was just hanging on, trying not to kill my stuff.
Jeffrey, congratulations on the second place finish tonight. So good to see you have a good run. You've had your fair share of adventure over the past weeks, so I'm really glad to see you up here. But I am a little curious to ask you tonight because you and just a couple other drivers were committed to that bottom line in a lot of regards. Kansas has that propensity to really get people to run the high line, especially later in a run. Did you find that was one of the factors that kind of was able to help you maintain speed and get up to the front tonight? Was that something that was really beneficial to you?
No, I wanted to run the high line. It's just I couldn't run it and wanted to. It's like every time I'd go up there and try to run hard like they were, I just hit the wall.
Mhm.
So I had to stick to the bottom. But yeah, I wish I could have made time up there. I think I would have done a lot better. Um, Maybe I could have hung with Kendall at the end, but yeah, I just kept knocking the wall down every time I'd go up there.
So just preserving the truck was enough to help you have the finish that you did tonight. Well, really, I don't know how much better you could have done outside of just running Kendall down. But second place is fantastic, man, and you proved you earned it tonight.
Yeah, yeah. Thankfully, I finally got a good run in. I know I missed the past couple weeks because of work and stuff, but hopefully I can get back in the groove and get a couple more top fives. See if I can climb the points.
Absolutely. Well, we do want to thank you very much for joining us. We do hope you continue the climb in the points, Jeffrey. As is the protocol here at P1. You run on the you stand on the podium. You get the mic. Friends, family, sponsor, shout outs. The floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to just thank my team, Midwest Sim Sports, Frankie J Design, Bobby Taylor Oil Company, Riddles Farm, and yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping in. Congratulations on the P2. Keep going fast and having fun, Jeffrey.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Fantastic job, Jeffrey.
Thanks.
Now, before we get to Kendall Paul, and mainly because I like to keep Kendall waiting, we're going to bring in one of the two drivers tonight as a bonus because Brian Sharp, you did not hit anything tonight.
George of the jungle strong, yes he can be.
I was actually no, I did get hit on lap 2 or lap 1.
But you did not cause a caution, so you were
Oh,
not involved in any yellow
It's
lights.
been a few weeks since I've caused a caution.
Well, you don't.
I've
necessarily-
usually been caught up in somebody else's caution.
right, but then the song plays. Right, we're looking at your truck now. There's not a dent, a ding. Papa Smurf appears to be in perfect health on the side, and so
Yeah, I only had 4 seconds of optional.
there you
So-
go.
4 seconds.
Yeah,
that's just
it
a
was
lug
nothing.
nut
I'm used
that
to
got
seeing
loose.
6 minutes, so
4 seconds is just a lug nut they couldn't find. That's all that is.
But we did.
that was just a scratch on the side. So we're
we
good.
we know that you're capable of running a lot better than you have been, and we know that a lot of those things have been not your doing, and so kind of wanted to get your take on tonight's race because you started kind of out back a little bit, you worked your way up to the front, but you never quite got there. What did you see? Because some of the racing back there looked pretty gnarly.
Yeah, I was definitely in danger most of at least the first stage. There was a lot of 3 wide that shouldn't have been 3 wide. But no, it was good racing for that, I don't know, 15th to 10th area. Every time I got to 11th at the end of each stage, I just couldn't get that one last spot. I think I was running with the 67 there almost every stage, and at the end there too. Like I could get to him. I tried to make the pass, and I didn't have enough coming out of the corner to complete it because he'd have to run on the outside and just drive right on by me again.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think of all the top 10 drivers, you probably saw the most diversity of the field simply because of where you're running at different junctures of the race. So you got to race with about everybody tonight.
Just about. I guess it was after the second stage. I think I restarted like eighth. I keyed up the team, and I'm like, so this is what the front of the pack looks like?
Well, I told
And Ken
I
was
told
back, and he was
Mark
like,
at the
I
beginning
don't
of
want to be here. I'll trade you.
I told Mark at the beginning of the event, I said, there's really not a lot of trees in Kansas.
Well, then we were trying to figure out what there
That
was
might be
in.
why.
Well, and then we were trying to figure out what was in Kansas and if you could hit them, which led to a whole discussion about various things that I had flipped my cars into over the years. We determined that.
I would assume probably a water tower is about one of the only things in Kansas you could probably hit.
Well, no, there's wheat. So I've
Wheat,
seen
that's the primary,
that
primary
moves.
crop.
Wheat.
in
That's
Kansas
like
is
corn
wheat.
here in Pennsylvania.
Well,
It'll
but
move.
but I determined. I kind of thought I have rolled a car into a cornfield, and so I think that wheat probably isn't as soft as corn to land in, but it's probably better than soybeans, and so. You know, you're 6'5" and pick 'em as far as that goes. Maybe a water tower at Kansas you could crash into. Either way, Brian, great run tonight. We'll return you to your team.
Fantastic job, Brian. We're really happy for you.
Yeah, that's right.
It's only been what are we on week 10, 12? I'm finally getting up front again. So
It's been a while, but congratulations, man. We'll talk to you
has.
next week. All right.
alrighty, we'll do. See you guys.
Yep.
Take care, Brian.
So that's Brian Sharp, and we've had our fun with Brian, and now we need to get back to business. We've got tonight's winner, Kendall Paul, in the in the booth. Kendall, school was in session, and you got an A on the test. Did everybody else pay attention, or are you going to be able to do this again in the fall?
Oh, well, there's a lot of luck that went into this one. Ever since they did the new update with Kansas and the new setup, I was struggling there stage 1 and 2 with hitting the wall and everything. But stage 3, I finally got it figured out. But a lot of the fast guys got unfortunate luck, and we just capitalized on that. And once we got it put up to the front, we kept her up to the front, got the fresh air on the nose, and just ran away with it.
You brought up a good point. There early in the early stages, you had drivers like Ryan O'Donoghue, Chuck Sweeting, and several others that they really did show a lot of speed, especially on the long run. Can you give us just a little bit more insight about what you were trying to accomplish and what you were learning there in those early stages about how you might be able to make up some ground on those guys, even though they ran into some bad luck and some circumstances that were against them in the race? Knowing you as I'm getting to learn over these weeks, just give us a little insight about what's going through your head and what you have to do to make up that ground and to maintain a close proximity to those guys, especially in the last stage.
It was hard there stage 2, definitely, because I got caught up fighting with other different people and everything, using up the rubber, that sort of thing. So it was really about the track position. And I think if we had the track position and those guys were still there, and we could have had the track position and been in that same group, it would have come down that green flag pit stop. And that's what it is all about at Kansas, is that green flag pit stop.
Yes,
what's
sir.
going to happen there when you pit. You saw Billy Elwell, he pitted, 5 or 6 laps before I did. And
Right. He was the one that started it all there in the last stops, yeah.
And he was there 4 seconds ahead of me, and then 6 laps later we blew his doors off going by just because pitted a little too early, and that's something you got to take that gamble. Exactly. And for Billy, you got to take that gamble for him. So props to him on trying that. But yeah, it's second hometown win in the Truck Series, so really happy about that. We snapped a 1-year winless streak in the Truck Series, so I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, Kendall,
We're just thrilled for you.
Yeah, Kendall, we're happy to see you on top of the rostrum. Friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs. The floor is yours, my man.
Yeah, I got to thank the family and all the friends that are watching out there tonight. Got to thank all the teammates, Dark Horse Performance. Got a great team going here. with all of them. And I got to thank the sponsors, Archway Industrial Coatings, Storm Tracker 78. I got them on the truck actually and got them a victory on our own sponsored race, so I'm really happy about that. Rogue Energy Trak Racer, Admin Box, anybody else that I'm forgetting. Got to thank them, all of them, and I got to thank the P1 Broadcasting for broadcasting this thing. The broadcasts are looking amazing, and everybody else thinks the same thing. So keep it up, and we love watching them after.
Thank you so much, Kendall, for your time, my friend. Go celebrate.
Yep. Thank you,
Congratulations, man. Great job.
guys. Thank you, Sam.
And that is going to be your race winner, Kendall Paul. Sam? Whew.
I think these truck races are fun. These guys are really, they're giving us as announcers, and they're giving the viewing public, they're giving all of us our money's worth in these particular races.
You know,
as I was saying just at the end of the event, I mean, there's really very little that these races that are that they're having that they don't offer something for everyone.
You know, you're absolutely right on that score, Sam. And speaking of racing offerings, this is the month to be watching P1 Broadcasting. Tonight, of course, we've got the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series from Kansas. We're going to sign off. I'm going to at least head over to the other booth where Gary Godso and an ensemble cast. Who Wants to Be Famous? It's opening night of the Indianapolis 500 fixed top split races. We're going to mercifully take the weekend off, and that's because most of us would like to race, Sam. I will be running in Indianapolis tomorrow in the official time slot. We've got the IndyCar Open Series Monday night from the Daytona Road Course at 8 o'clock. That's going to be fun, and it's going to be immediately followed by the Sim Gaming Expo ISRA Open Wheel Series from Gateway at 9:35. Tuesday, the IndyCar Oval Series takes their talent to Iowa for some top split action, and then mercifully, Sam, there's going to be some breaks. So here on the P1 Broadcasting channel. So I do not believe, and I am double checking, we are off one more time on Thursday night for the Xfinity Series. Is that correct?
Next week.
Believe that's right. So we are off next week on Thursday. Friday, Sam and I will be here for the Carolina Heritage 250. That is from North Wilkesboro, and I'm looking forward to that.
Come on home.
Sam.
Come to my home. I'm only 40 minutes from North Wilkesboro.
There you go.
Love that place. Love it.
There you go. We'll have the Dark Horse DW12 Series presented by The Joy of Driving on Sunday night. That's going to be from Pocono. I'll be running that one. And so, Sam, with all that said, it's a big week of racing here at the P1 Broadcasting channel. I do want to thank everybody for tuning it in. I want to thank Sam, my broadcast partner, Gary Gonso, the founder, and everybody else at P1. We'd also like to thank the first responders, the military, the police, the firemen, the EMTs, the nurses, all the people that do the hard work at night so that we can sleep safe and sound in our beds.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all.
We thank you all. We salute you, Sam.
Mark, you can take the belts off.
But then I got to put them right back on. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.